Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. Well, what happened? It's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the insane buying opportunity that we have before us right now in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. As you guys know, Bitcoin went through a drop of about 17.5% over the course of the last 2 weeks. Over the course of the last 24 hours, however, Bitcoin has been in a major uptrend, and we have every reason to believe that this uptrend will continue from here because of data that we've had coming out about the performance of the Bitcoin exchange traded funds and about the performance of many of the other altcoins in the cryptocurrency space. The wonderful thing about where we are in crypto right now is that the future is so bright. There are so many reasons to have hope for what's around the corner. And quite frankly, we don't have a lot of risks right now. This is not like we're at the bottom of the bear market and FTX has collapsed and nobody knows what's going to happen. And it's a little bit more foggy to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Is it a train? Is it the sun? What is it? Right now, it's very clear that the next couple of years on Bitcoin and crypto, for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency rather, are going to be extremely bullish. And so that is very fertile ground for investment, which is why Bitcoin has almost doubled in the span of the last 6 months. In fact, it's over doubled in just the last 6 months. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can double your money in the cryptocurrency space, at least by investing in cryptocurrency. So let's go ahead and dive right on into it. We're going to start off by introducing everybody who is in chat. This morning, we just got started. There's almost 200 people watching. Shout out to everybody who has tuned in. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Christina Orozco was first. Grand Roofing Incorporated and Crypto Mini Bike, both saying good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well. Drian is here. Hello and good morning. Marley 123, still have no idea how to pronounce your name. Wow Toys, let's play, said good morning. And Damaso Jesus Rivas Vargas is in chat, said good morning. Bees said buzz buzz. Chance Nelson said what's up. One House Productions said yeehaw. It's really funny whenever I get sick like I am right now. I am very, you can probably hear it in my voice. You might be able to tell in my demeanor. I'm quite sick. The good news is I still have the ability to go into work because I love what I do, but nevertheless, the fact of the matter is we still I sound very southern whenever I am sick. For whatever reason, my southern accent comes in at the end of the comes out when I'm sick. Quinn Daughtery said, "Ayo Jeb." Drian said, "You sound sick, bro." That is because I am. But we are here today, and we've got a lot to talk about. Genna is in chat, said, "Watching from Israel." Shout out to Israel. Don Siri 24 is in chat. Good morning to you as well. SM is in chat. Whatever happened to the beanbag thief? He escaped justice on this earth, but he will not escape God. We will all be held to account for what we do, good or bad. God sees all. So that's where we have the peace to release that to our Father on high. Shadrach Frost said, best crypto family on the YouTubes. I think it is absolutely the best crypto family on the YouTubes. Shout out to everyone who has tuned in this morning. All right, guys. Etymology of the word mortgage, a grip of death. Really? I'm going to look that up. Would not surprise me at all. Grand Roofing Incorporated said, yes, everyone smash the likes. Let's get it over 100 before he even gets here. Thank you guys so much for all the likes. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, first things first. Bitcoin is currently trading at $70,641. It is up 7.3% in the last 24 hours. And in large part has gone through a major correction to the upside, especially in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin has gone through a major rallying back up above $70,000, briefly hitting $71,500, and actually breaking well above the previous bull market's all-time high, around $69,000. So far, this is really starting to look like one of those Cheshire cat formations that we've talked about, where Bitcoin moves from having higher, lower highs and lower lows consecutively to having higher highs and higher lows. The one concern that I do have about the state of the market right now is the fact that we are in an ascending wedge on Bitcoin. Ascending wedges of this caliber typically break to the downside, and in fact, it was an ascending wedge that we used to predict the last correction. So, while I am bullish on Bitcoin, considering we are also having some flagging happening here, I can't be totally confident of a major breakout because we just simply have not gotten out of the narrative of this ascending triangle pattern, this ascending wedge rather. And until we do get out of the narrative of this ascending wedge, then we're going to have a difficult time breaking to the upside. Now, on the contrary, if Bitcoin does hold above $69,500, we have also put into play a equivalent low and an equivalent top. In fact, we have not put the equivalent low in place yet. We have to see where Bitcoin's going to fall to during the duration of the stream. But if we do bounce here around 69,800, which is in question, that bull flag would give us a price target well above our current all-time high, which is situated neatly at $73,700. On the other hand, Ethereum has been performing very well. It is up 7% in the last 24 hours, and I'm pretty excited about our Ethereum position. We took out quite a large position in Ethereum recently, and the average cost basis that we ended up getting on that investment was about $3,250, which was awesome. It showed the power of dollar cost averaging. We made 4 purchases. We made a purchase right around here, I believe it was. I have to go back and look. We made a purchase right around here, then we made another purchase right around here. As I said, I'd have to go back and look, but I do know that the average cost basis, I believe, was $3,253 when all was said and done, which was great because it showed the power of dollar cost averaging. Our average cost basis, as Ethereum dropped, again, if I recall correctly, I'll look in just a second. If I recall correctly, it was right around here, which was incredible, because it shows the power of DCAing. It allowed us to get an entry in that would 3x if we ended up going to all-time high. That was a significantly lower entry than we would have been getting if we were buying up here at $4,000. In fact, just to go back to $4,000 from that average cost basis, we make 26%. That was a cash deployment, which is something I've talked to you guys about quite a bit. We've had cash on the sidelines waiting for a correction, and I said to myself, we've been DCAing quite a bit into the altcoins, but honestly, we have not been putting much into Ethereum, and now Ethereum is starting to get to the point where I want more of it in the portfolio. So we went ahead and deployed a percentage of our cash position in 4 total transactions, strategically trying to get the entry as low as possible, and we managed to do it. So I'm very excited about that. We increased our overall Ethereum portfolio value of portfolio allocation by probably about 15 to 20% in that movement. So very happy about that. All of that was done within the last 2 weeks on this corrective movement. And that's kind of an example of what I want you guys to do when Bitcoin goes into a correction. I want you to be able to use, while I have my screen up here, I'll check and see if that is the actual average cost basis, because I don't want to mislead you guys. But I want you guys to be able to do the exact same thing. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Let's see here. I will go ahead and check on that average cost basis here to make sure I have the number right. Oh, it was actually lower than I said. $3,203.27. I will copy and paste it into chat. So I stand corrected. It was actually lower than I thought it was. It was, let me see this. It was 3203. So, excuse me. It was actually not 3252. I have it right here. I just looked at it. 3203.47. That was our average cost basis. Right down there. Because we got the right purchases. We bought in a bunch right down here. So it was actually $50 lower than I thought. I was worried. I was like, oh man, maybe it was a little higher. That just seemed like it was too good of an entry. But to be honest with you, it just worked, guys. We just got some really great entries on Ethereum. And so, if you guys have not already gotten good entries in on Ethereum, and I think part of the reason it was that low is because we had a little bit of dust that we had bought back here, so that's probably bringing it down a little bit. The average cost base of what we just did was probably around $33.50 or so. But the point was, when you have a major corrective movement like this on Ethereum or on Bitcoin or on what have you, then what you are able to do is you are able to deploy cash into the market, keep your average cost basis low, or in some cases, even lower your average cost basis, and that is very, very, very helpful in the grand scheme of your investment. Now, It's also pretty cool because we have a bullish divergence that came in here on the Crypto Jeb Oscillator. As you can see, we had a bullish divergence print right here at the exact bottom, and Bitcoin would end up going through a big rally. So shout out to LuxAlgo. Go to luxalgo.com/Jeb. If you are interested, you can sign up for the LuxAlgo technical indicator and get the Crypto Jeb Oscillator as well right over there. But let's continue down CoinMarketCap. Take a look at some of the other coins and projects. Chainlink up 7% in the last 24 hours. I love to see it. Polygon's up 5% in the last 24 hours. I love to see it. Near Protocol up 15% in the last 24 hours. Same with ICP. Our altcoin portfolio has been performing exceptionally well recently. We have entries on Near Protocol going back down here around the $1.50 range. So very excited with what Near is doing. Very, very excited with what Near is doing. Cosmos up 10% in the last 7 days. ETH Classic even up 15% in the last 7 days. Immutable X up 18% in the last 7 days. Chronos up 21% in the last 7 days. H-Bar up 15.5% in the last 7 days. Aptos up 20%. Stacks up 26%. Bitcoin Cash up 30%. ICP taking off to the flipping moon. It is up 74% in the last 7 days. In fact, right now, I'll just go ahead and show you. We have, let's see here. Our ICP position, let's see, I have it on my other screen here, has almost doubled. Our Chainlink position has gone up about 50%. Our Uniswap position is up 50 or 60%. Our Solana position has doubled. Yeah, a lot of the positions we've been taking out with the exact strategy I've been telling you guys about have performed very well. Let's see the Near Protocol. Yes, the Near Protocol that we have purchased in this bull market has an average cost basis of $2.88. So it has almost tripled because we've been dollar cost averaging the way that I've been teaching you guys to do for months now. And so many of these positions that we hold are going to more than likely end up going 3, 4, 5x, and that's where we're going to start taking profits on them. So that's very exciting indeed. And these are just some of the positions we bought recently. This is not including the positions that we've been holding for years. We've got some others on the other hand. Rowdy said, watching from Palestine. Shout out to you, my friend. I did so much DCAing when it was under the 2000 for weeks. I think many of the alts time is still forthcoming. I agree. Absolutely. Solana may be done pumping. It was early. I don't think Solana's done pumping, but I think that it's definitely expended more of its energy than some of these other coins have for sure. Morning, bruh, from the DMV. Whew, poor thing. I feel bad for you. The Department of Moving very heckin' slowly. DMVHS. Department of Moving very hella slowly. I guess that's the way the kids would say it these days. I don't know. Micah Hall's in chat said DCA is the way to go. That's right, guys. 1 kilo of gold equals 1 Bitcoin. Really? That's cool. Great. His time will come. Yep, he will stand trial for that unless he's forgiven for it, but he has to accept that. All right. Best crypto family on YouTube. Coinbase. Let's see. Cool. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the actual strategy because there's still a lot of money to be made in this cryptocurrency space. One of the things I want you guys to be doing, very simply, is I want you to be considering dollar cost averaging on a daily basis. It is as simple as this. When you dollar cost average into the market, you set yourself up statistically to be the most successful that you possibly can be. I know that sounds aggressive, but it is, or that is a big promise, but it is really about that simple. When you dollar cost average into the market, you set yourself up to be the most successful that you are likely going to be. And the reason for that is because it is a system that works, and it has always worked, and it will always work so long as you do it wisely and you add a few things here and there to make sure that you know what you're doing. Like knowing how to take profits, knowing how much money you should put in, having a budget, those kind of things. There are 6 laws of money that we teach, and one of those laws of money is that you will be successful with money if you do all 6 of them, but one of them is that you save money and you build wealth. You must understand that even if you're not holding the dollar, if you are standing still in life, you are moving backwards. There are only 2 directions you can go in life because of the march of time. You can move forward or you can move backwards. You do not have the option to stand still. You either choose at any given moment to move backwards or move forwards. And when you realize that, then what you end up doing is you end up lighting a fire under your butt and trying to get something done because you don't want to go backwards. It is not just an inflationary matter that causes that. It is quite simply the march of the ever non-stop time. Time will always march forward. We will always be moving closer and closer to the end of time, whether that be our own personal end when we meet our maker or when the actual universe comes to an end and Christ returns. The point of the matter is that we do not have an infinite amount of time, and so we must take as best advantage of it as possible. Part of being financially sovereign is being time sovereign. The overarching principle there is sovereignty over creation. Financial sovereignty is actually a subset of sovereignty over creation, period. And part of our duty as human beings is to render control over our time. We start by rendering control over ourselves, but then we must render control over the substance and the parts of creation around us. So our time, our children's time, our company's time, our time spent enjoying things, which we should do, our time spent being generous, which we should do, and our time spent building wealth, which we should do, and working, which we should do. We must render control over our time. And one of the ways that you render control over your time and over your money and over your future is by investing on a basis of a fixed schedule. In other words, using time to your advantage. In the cryptocurrency space, it is called dollar cost averaging. In the stock world, it is called investing in your retirement account. There are a ton of different names for it, but in essence, all it means is that on a fixed schedule, you are purchasing assets that are likely going to appreciate in value with a relatively good risk-to-reward ratio relative to another place that you can make money at the same time. You could almost guarantee yourself that you're going to make 10% in the United States stock market. You can basically guarantee yourself that for at least the next year, you're going to make 5% in a savings account. You can more or less guarantee those things. By the way, when you pay off a mortgage, if it's got anything over a 4% interest rate and you're in the first 5 years of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, you can adjust the numbers however you want. You're basically guaranteed to double your money because you were paying $1 into the principal and you're going to save at least $1 of interest. Many of you guys, if you paid down your mortgage, you'd be saving $3 for every dollar you put into the mortgage. That is a guaranteed 3x. So when we are looking for things to invest in, we are looking in opportunities where we can leverage our knowledge, our understanding of the market, our research, our intuition, and our experience to be able to beat those more or less guaranteed returns. I cannot guarantee you for certain that you will make money over the next 30 years in the S&P 500, but I can come very close. The track record is there. I can more or less guarantee you that in the next year, you will make 5% in a CD or in a, better yet, a savings account, a high-yield savings account. I can more or less, and actually not more or less, I can just straight up guarantee you you're going to save money on interest if you pay off your debt. I can guarantee those things. So when we're investing in the cryptocurrency space, we're looking for ways that we can invest on a similar or a better risk to reward ratio than some of those quote unquote guaranteed returns. Oftentimes people call the investment in United States Treasury notes the guaranteed return, and everything else on top of that, you measure risk from that. Some people will use the stock market, the S&P 500, as the basis for risk when you're calculating alpha and beta. In cryptocurrency, people are starting to calculate alpha and beta against Bitcoin because it's the market leader, etc. The thing that we're trying to do here, and Pew Pew Poom 2 talks about this all the time, we're trying to use our our experience to figure out how we can beat the more or less guarantee. Now, here's the thing. This is why I want you to pay off high yield interest first. If you've got a 20% personal loan, every dollar you pay on that loan, you're going to save like $5 or $6 in interest. That is a guaranteed 5 or 6x. You can run the amortization calculator, run the numbers, you got to figure it out. But you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself you're going to save $6 for every dollar you put in on interest. I'm sorry, but a guaranteed 6x return on your money, you're going to have a hard time finding that anywhere, especially if it happens instantly, right? Which is why I encourage you to pay, which is one of many reasons why I encourage you to pay off high yield, high interest, consumer, non-mortgage, short-term debt first, like credit cards, personal loans, auto loans, and student loans. Paying those off because you are immediately eliminating the interest essentially guarantees a return. I want you to take guaranteed returns before you even deploy your money in a market. After that, I want you to invest for retirement because I want you to secure your future so you have the ability to make decisions. Have you ever heard the phrase of a broke salesperson? You ever heard of a broke salesperson? That's somebody who pulls their pockets out and says, "I'm broke. Will you please buy my stuff?" Yeah, I'll buy your stuff on a 70% discount. Of course I will. You need the money, right? And so you don't want to be a broke salesperson because, oh my gosh, I got to make this investment work or I'm never going to be able to retire. Invest for the long run, consistently, with integrity, doing what you say you believe in over a long period of time, and then secure your future. And from there, after you paid off that high yield debt and you've done something to secure your future, buying Bitcoin, which is a long-term pick, can and I think should be a part of that. By the way, I think it's a good idea to consider some of your Bitcoin as retirement money. I do, and I'm not going to retire for probably ever, but probably realistically at least 50 years. I consider some of the Bitcoin that we own retirement Bitcoin. I ain't gonna sell it, and you can't pry it from my cold dead fingers, because I'm not going to tell you the password or the keys, okay? Because that's for our retirement and for my children and for my children's children. So we secure the future. We pay off the high yield interest, then we secure the future, and then what we do? We say we want to build wealth, but we want to leverage knowledge, experience, understanding, and wisdom to be able to beat the guaranteed returns that we can get from either paying off debt, because maybe we paid it all off, from maxing out retirement accounts and taking the tax advantage because maybe we already maxed that out, from buying Bitcoin because maybe we've already bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and that's where we get to the dollar cost averaging in the cryptocurrency space. We've done all the other stuff that is low or no risk, but will still make you a freaking millionaire if you do it for long enough. Quit complaining about being worth 10 million bucks in 20 years with almost a guarantee behind that. Quit complaining about that. It's childish. It doesn't make you look smart. And then after you've done those things, and while you're doing those things at the same time, then you can start saying, I'm going to dollar cost average into the cryptocurrency space. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to understand how this coin works. I'm going to understand its market value, its proposition, its value proposition. I'm going to understand the market behind it. I'm going to understand what it does. I'm going to understand why people buy it. I'm going to understand why it's gone up in value for the last 10 freaking years. I'm going to study the history, and I am going to be a subject matter expert or close to it on this coin before I buy it. Because a wise man, a wise woman looks well into the way they're going, and they're not going to buy something unless they get it, because they don't want to lose money. You know the first step to making money? Not losing it. That's why we have NordVPN as a sponsor. First step to making money, not losing it. The whole first law is financial sovereignty, which means to be in control. You can't be in control of money you lost because you had no idea what you were doing. So we're going to do our research. We're going to understand the coin. And by the way, if you have 500 coins and you don't know what 490 of them do, my friend, as soon as the stream is over, in fact, close the stream, go sell them and put the money in something you understand. It is okay to be in less assets so long as you get them and you're paying attention. So after we've done all the things we've talked about, we paid off the high yield interest. I'm not talking about your mortgage, but we paid off, unless you've got like a 20% interest mortgage or something crazy. You pay off all the interest, all the loans and all the debt other than the mortgage, and you are securing your future by investing in something for retirement. And I don't mind, and I would actually encourage you to include Bitcoin in that. So I'm not just saying the stock market. That can also entail real estate after you paid off your mortgage. After you've done those things, then we say, all right, I'm going to go and do some research. I've heard about this Ethereum thing. What's an Ethereum? And you're going to go do some research, and you're going to realize, oh, wait a minute. There's $50 billion of total value locked on top of the Ethereum blockchain. It is considered a commodity by the SEC, except for when Gary Gensler reneges and changes his mind, because like a wicked individual, he can't keep his mind made and keeps changing it at his own whim. Must be hot, because that's a lot of shade. Anyway, Ethereum still is a commodity. It is going to have an ETF, and that is not something that any regulator is going to be able to stop, because I'm sorry, it's a $500 billion market capitalization, and we still live in a democratic state. It is going to get an ETF. It is an excellent investment. You're going to do your research on Ethereum, and you're going to realize, all right, it's got some stiff competition. Maybe I'll buy some of the competition to diversify my risk profile, but I still think it's going to perform very well. And when the ETF comes online, there's probably going to be $50 or $100 billion of net inflows in the first year into those ETFs. So I'm going to buy some Ethereum to supplement my Bitcoin. From there, you're saying, all right, I got Bitcoin and ETH. Let's take a little more risk. I've done all the simple stuff with guaranteed or close to returns. I've done all the things where I can basically guarantee that I'm going to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6x my money if I give it enough time. I paid off the high yield stupid personal loan with 22% interest, and I'm making $6 on a dollar because I'm investing and paying that off. I am investing it for retirement. I am working on paying off my mortgage. I am buying Bitcoin. I am buying Ethereum. Now what? Now I'm going to run down the list, and I'm going to say, I'm going to do some research on these coins. I've heard good things about this coin. I've heard good things about this Cardano. Cardano. That's it. I've done some research on this Cardano thing. It seems pretty great. It seems a little bit slower than Ethereum right now. It doesn't seem like it's staying caught up, because it's got great tech, but it's just not being adopted. You know what? I'll put some into it, but I think I'll hold off and put more into something else. I'll do some research on Solana. I'll say, oh man, it's great. It's the consumer blockchain of blockchains, worth $85 billion. But it's already rallied a lot. It's very inflationary, and it goes down. All right, I'm going to put some in there, but I'm going to diversify my risk profile. I'm going to scroll down. We'll see. Avalanche, another layer 1, is really cool because they diversify the different kind of transactions onto different media. The way you can explain Avalanche is like this. If you were going through a city and you're trying to transport bulk cargo, you're going to go through a canal on a boat, on a cargo ship. If you're trying to transport bulk cargo really fast, you'll send it through the city on a train. If you're trying to get through the city as an individual and you have no luggage, then you're going to fly a plane over the city. If you're trying to drive across town to your job, you're going to take a car. So the different kind of transactions go on different types of blockchains called side chains on Avalanche. That's pretty cool. But there's some issues with its dev team not really getting along. All right, I'll put some money into it, but I'm going to keep an eye on that dev team. Chainlink holds the whole freaking industry together. That sounds like the glue that holds everything together because it's linking off-chain data with on-chain applications. That's a great idea. And they facilitated $10 trillion in transactions. You know what? I think I'll buy some of that. That seems undervalued. Seems great. Okay, I'll buy some of that. And that's how you build your portfolio. You first have a small emergency fund. You pay off the high-yield interest debt. You invest for the future, not for the today, so you have a fancier car, because that's childish if you don't have your future secured. You invest for your retirement and make sure in your old days, you're not having to be taken care of by your kids, but they're able to go and live their best life, and so you can be wise and lead them. You secure your future, and then you come back and you make investments so that, sure, you can have a nice car. I'm not against that. I just want you to be wise with the way you do it. And then you also invest money so that you can reinvest some of that money, and you invest some of that money so that you can be generous with it. And that's how you build wealth. And a lot of that has to do with dollar cost averaging on a fixed schedule. That's what I want you guys to do to make money. Verhoofdy Floofin said, taking profit ensures that you took profit, or 2x guarantees a gain and allows you to ride forward without fear. Exactly. I definitely want you guys to absolutely realize, I tell this to people in coaching all the time. When you buy an asset, you set the money on fire and it's gone, and now you have the money. Sorry, now you have the asset. That is a sunk cost. When you sell the asset and you quote unquote realize the profits, that's when you make a profit. So it's not a bad thing to sell a little bit early, but to do it with less risk, because I don't want you to make a bunch of money in this bull market and then get knocked down and have to start over. There's no point in that. 2 weeks ago, you said Sol to $800. Now you're saying it won't perform as much. No, I think Sol will still probably go to $800. This bull market's going to get absolutely freaking crazy. So yeah, I do think that that's going to definitely be a potential really high peak. That doesn't mean I would wait until $800 to start selling. I would consider selling some Solana at 1% a week for about $400, maybe even less than that. But as Verhoofdy Floofin said, you want to take profits when you are in profit because you are guaranteed profit. Until you actually press the sell button, you haven't made a dime. So taking profits is not a bad thing. Opportunity cost is not as real. It's not really real at all. Opportunity cost is not as real as the actual cost of buying the asset and not getting your money back. That's an actual cost. Opportunity cost is a fictional pipe dream. You know what opportunity cost is? When I was 8 years old, I could have bought Bitcoin. I didn't know about Bitcoin, nor did I have a dime to my name. Sorry, I missed an opportunity. Like, I can't help that. I can't help the past. Opportunity cost is a lie. You have to be careful about getting so caught up about not screwing up on the opportunity cost side of things that you don't actually focus on the actual cost of things, which is you spent money when you bought this asset, so sell it when it's in profit. Greats from Holland. Thanks for the good advice. Absolutely, Barry BTC. I appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, let's read some chat. This is a great question. For Navin, Eternavin, cool name, said, how does NordVPN make you not lose money? Shadrach Frost answered and said, a VPN creates a secure tunnel between a user's computer and the VPN server, which hides their online activity and location. Yeah, so essentially, a VPN reroutes your internet activity to make it invisible to the outside, which if a hacker cannot see you, then they cannot target you. If you ever watched Top Gun, or you know anything about the military and, you know, jets and whatnot, you'll know of something called a target lock. There are a lot of different ways that a missile can lock on. One of the simplest ways is a heat-seeking missile. It just goes towards the heat of the exhaust of a jet engine. But when you get a target lock, then it's very easy to destroy a target because you can see them and your weapon is targeted on them. When you are a hacker, you get a target lock, if you will, on your doomed victim by having their online activity right there in the palm of your hands. If you can't see somebody, it's much harder to attack them. And so that is how a VPN like NordVPN protects you. So if you have not already signed up for NordVPN, then make sure you do. Go to the link in the description box down below or go to nordvpn.com/Jeb and sign up and get a 2-year plan to protect yourself for the duration of the bull market. I'd be very, very happy to see you guys do that. It'd be so good for you to get NordVPN and use it. All right. Financial sovereignty or nothing? Absolutely. I totally agree. We still getting 6 to 9 months after having, or are we going to moonshot early? I don't think this bull market is going to be over as soon as people think it is. Verhoofty Floofin said, this time is clearly different, so who knows, pew pew. Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a lot different here. Take a 5x in crypto and slap that cash in your mortgage for a 3x, which works out to a 15x. Exactly. And that's the strategy right there that I'm teaching you guys in financial coaching. That's kind of the secret sauce right there. You got a mortgage or any other kind of debt, make 2 or 3 or 4x in crypto, put it into your debt, and you're going to double or triple it because you're not going to have to pay the interest on the asset if you're going to keep the asset or just sell the asset. But if you're going to keep the asset, then you can end up making well over a 10x because you multiplied debt payment by investment. Like I said, when you follow all 6 laws of money, financial sovereignty, living on less than you make, having a written plan, getting out of debt, investing for wealth generation, and being generous, when you do those 6 things, I guarantee you, short of circumstance, you will be more successful with money. 1 out of 100 of you guys that are watching this genuinely have a reason where you just are not going to be able to succeed with money until something changes in your life, circumstance-wise or oppression-wise. But that is not most of you. I know somebody who was still working on his wealth and on growing as an individual, and he had some very bad health complications, and he literally could not move. Every time he moved, he was in excruciating pain. The man has like 3 different things that should have killed him by now, but the Lord has preserved him through it. He's got a very severe form of mold poisoning. He's got Lyme's disease, and he's also got a bunch of other secondary viruses and infections that have come from that. And this guy is still working on growing himself every single day, even though his circumstance couldn't be much worse. The guy can barely move, can barely work, and that is definitely taken down his productive output, if you will, by a great degree, but he's still been able to grow through it. And that's what I'm flipping talking about, man. Taking your future and your destiny into your own hand. That's the inspiring stuff. You read a story like that and you say, I want to be like that guy, but we don't want to pay the price that that guy paid. We don't want to go through the pain that that guy went through. We have to choose our pain. We have to choose the pain of being disciplined today. I tell you what I want to be doing right now? I want to be in bed asleep. I am sick as a dog, but I am here because I love you guys more. Because I want to build this channel and this mission and this community into something that honors God and teaches millions, tens, hundreds of millions of people how to be financially sovereign. I want to raise $1 billion for the kingdom of God. I want to train all of you guys into being really good with money so that you've got money to enjoy and to invest and build wealth with and to have peace with and to be generous with. I want to start the biggest fundraising campaign for the kingdom of God in the history of the world. I want to personally give $1 billion to missions and ministry and the kingdom. And I want you guys to give $10 billion. And I know you can. That is more important than getting a little extra sleep so I get over a cold a day sooner. But it takes sacrifice. And so if you want to make money in the cryptocurrency space, I'm going to give you the system, but it also takes some grit. It hurts every single week to put $1,000 into crypto. It hurts to max out your Roth IRA because it's a sunk cost in the now, because delayed gratification. The entire essence of investing is delayed gratification. That is the entire essence of delayed gratification. Of investing is delayed gratification. We sacrifice what we want now because I tell you what, I want some tacos, man, and those tacos cost $1,000 for some reason, right? I want $1,001 tacos. But instead, I'm going to put $1,000 into Bitcoin because I think it's going to be worth more later. Instead, I'm going to pay off some debt because I want to be debt-free. Instead, I'm going to put this in my kids' college fund because I want them to succeed. Instead, I am going to be generous with this because when I lend unto the poor, I'm lending unto the Lord, and I want to make that poor person smile because I made their day, and I want to help bless that single mom who can't afford to make her phone bill. I want to bless her because, man, she's working hard, but some things are just hard to deal with on your own when you don't have help. And because I want the Lord to smile on me, and I want other people to look on me and see my good works and glorify my Father which art in heaven. They gave me the heart to do it. That is why we get out of bed every day, is because there's something worth fighting for. And I tell you what, when you've been through enough pain in life like I have been, you realize that you're not going to get out of it. You're not going to get out of pain. All you get to do is choose the kind of pain that you are going to go through, whether it is going to be pain that you are going to grow from and learn from, and you are going to be better off in the future from, like learning a hard lesson and being humble and listening to correction. That's a mic drop in its own right there. We could all use that one, including myself, for the first, absolutely. And from the pain of sunk cost in the now to invest for the future. In the words of Bill Gates, and he said it perfectly, if you were born poor, that ain't your fault. But at least in America, if you die poor, that's your fault. Normally. There are some exceptions, but there's not many. And for the most part, when we are saying, it's his fault that I'm broke, it's his fault that I'm like this, it's his fault that I'm like this, listen, there are people that have a right to say that. If you got abducted as a child and now you're a sex slave and there are people with guns around you, yeah, you got a right to say, I'm screwed and I can't do nothing about it. They're going to shoot me if I leave this place. That person genuinely has, like, we need to go as Christians and free that person. We need to go and help that individual is what we have to do. But if we're saying, oh, the government raised taxes 1%, oh, the little man can't get ahead. Little man can't get ahead. Listen, little man's always had a hard time getting ahead. And I'm not saying that it isn't harder to get ahead. Of course it's harder to get ahead right now with the way things are than they were 4 years ago. It is, factually speaking, a less prosperous time in America right now than it was 5 years ago. But I tell you what, the laws of money do not change, and the guarantee that they will make you at least better off in the future than you are right now does not change because the economy is bad. I have heard people complaining about the economy and blaming it for why they are not successful my entire life, and I am so sick of it, because when you blame somebody else for your lack of prosperity, unless it is actually a real thing, like you were a Jew in 1943 or something, unless you were literally in one of those positions, I don't want to hear it. Because there are people with your exact same circumstance that are succeeding, so why can't you? Get off your butt, take control of your life, and do something with it. You will be happier because you did. You will be happier because you did. Because men and women were put on this earth to work, and when you are not working towards a goal, you lack fulfillment. You lack purpose. You lack direction and drive, and dare I say joy, because God put you on this planet to do something. Part of that, not all of it, it's not even the most important part, but part of it is investing and building your wealth and being a wise and godly and righteous steward of your money. And the way you do that is by following the 6 biblical laws of money. I can quote chapter and verse every single one of these. This is not up for debate. This is a law like gravity. You don't get to argue about this. This is simply the way it is. It is a fact. If you don't like it, I'm sorry that I offended you, but it is reality. I know we don't like to we don't like to be told what the real world says, but they are laws. You gain control over your financial picture. You take financial sovereignty, law number 1. You live on less than you make, law number 2. You have a written plan, law number 3. You get out of debt, law number 4. You invest and build wealth, law number 5. And you are radically generous, law number 6. If you do those 6 things with money, you will be successful. If you fail to do any one of those things, you will be nowhere near as successful with money as you could be. Period. And there is absolutely no arguing about that. Just the way it is. Michael Hall donated $2, said, thanks, Jeb. Absolutely. Thank you. Stop yelling at me. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at foolishness. I'm yelling at the foolishness that we listen to and we let enslave us. Part of financial bondage is thinking that we do not have the ability to take control over at least some part of our lives. There is a man who was a Jewish individual who was detained in a Nazi concentration camp. And he had absolutely no control over anything in his entire life. And that was not his fault. He was genuinely under some very serious oppression. And there is still oppression here in the crypto, not just in crypto, in every part of the world. But this man realized something. He realized the one thing that those Nazi tormentors could not control was his own spirit. And he decided to have joy in the face of it. And whenever he was able to, even in the middle of being beat, he would try and be kind to the guards. And I don't know what happened to that, but I've got to wonder if that moved a few of them to wonder, how is this guy showing kindness towards the people that just killed his whole family? How is this guy showing kindness to the people that are starving him and working him into oblivion? But you've got to wonder if some of them saw what true kindness was, what true unconditional love for your fellow man was. And you've got to wonder if that guy taking control over the one thing that he actually did have control over, his own heart posture, taught the people around him something. Can we have a look at DOT? Absolutely, we can have a look at DOT. Let's do it. DOT is a very wonderful project that I think is going to do very well in the cryptocurrency bull market. It's worth $14 billion right now, and one of the things I like about it is that it is not extremely inflationary. There's been some inflation, but not much. It is also very far away from its all-time high. It's currently ranked number 13, which means you're getting a pretty solid entry if you were to buy in now. $52 billion is its all-time high on market capitalization. That was set on November 8th, 2021. If we were to return to there, that is a 5x. That gives us a pretty solid reward part of the equation. On the risk side of the equation, we have to look at the fundamentals, and to be honest with you, I think the fundamentals are still doing pretty great. The block space ecosystem for boundless innovation. If anybody is going to succeed in being the layer 0 interconnectivity protocol, it's more than likely going to be Polkadot. And so really the way that Polkadot is trying to make things work is it's trying to bring, it says it probably best here, they're trying to bring interoperability to blockchains so that blockchains can communicate and transact data between themselves. Think about, it's a little bit kind of like a meta idea, but you've got a bunch of different applications. You've got X, you've got Facebook, you've got YouTube, you've got Blowfin, you've got NordVPN, whatever. They are all connected by the internet, which is the layer 0 interoperability protocol that allows for all of those applications to seamlessly interact with one another. That's kind of Polkadot's vision. Polkadot enables cross-blockchain transfers of any type of data or asset, not just tokens. Connecting to Polkadot gives you the ability to interoperate with a wide variety of blockchains in the Polkadot network. Kind of similar to Chainlink. It is the leader in its space by a country flipping mile, and so if you are going to see success in that space, it is likely going to be as a result of Polkadot. And so when this protocol continues to succeed, because I think it will, then the price will continue to appreciate, and I think it will. And so DOT is definitely a part of our investment portfolio, and I am pretty excited to see that grow as we put more investment into it. As far as the chart goes, we'll take a look at DOT here over on Binance. It does have quite a far way to run on price action. To get back to all-time high, we would have to roughly rally 445%, which is great. That means that there's a lot of potential for rally. And also, the other thing to keep in mind here is that we spent a great deal of time well above our current level. Like the bottom for 2 years was still higher than where we are right now, which means it should be relatively easy to get exits up here around 30 to 40, even if you don't get the exact high. Don't expect to get the exact high. That's foolish. It's not going to happen. You are not just going to be the one guy that sells the exact top. It's not going to be you. Although, because of Murphy's Law, you probably will be the guy that buys the exact top. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes. No, I'm kidding. But the point here is, especially on the regular chart, you can see there's been a very serious growth trajectory going on for the last several months. Very exciting stuff, and I absolutely think Polkadot is a great asset to have in your investment portfolio. We kind of have to look at it through that lens when we're looking at the long run. Jeb preaching at myself, and you guys are in the audience. All right. Verhoofdefluven said, "Have a wonderful day, folks, and may the light of wisdom guide your decision-making." Amen. I love it. All right. Alex said, "Hey, Jeb." Hi, Alex. How are you? That's wild, Jeb. No mercy for them. No, I'm not saying no. Let me be very clear. Justice dictates that anybody that participated in the concentration camps deserves death. Can I be clear on that? I'm talking about the Nazis there. Okay, that is justice. To be perfectly clear, that is justice. How can financial coaching be scheduled? Great question, Richard. We do financial coaching. If you guys are interested, then you can check out the link in the description box down below. It'll take you through the purchase and the sign up and all the information. And then it will bring you to a page with Calendly where you can interface with my calendar directly. And there'll be a few different slots where you can select a time to do coaching. So if you are interested in doing coaching, that would be awesome. So definitely check the link down below. It's a lot of fun. Just did 2 coaching calls yesterday. So much fun. So much fun. Love doing it. You guys are always, at the end of the call, you guys are always like, just so kind. It's so kind the way that you guys, meeting you guys has been so great. Been so great. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you can't burn me. Love it. There was another in the fire. 12B Panda. There's a fourth one there. There's a fourth one there. Who is he? Who's the fourth guy in the fire with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Who is he? Who was that? Who was that? You guys know who that was? There was somebody there. Who was that? Anybody know who that was? Isaiah 53, ring a bell? Said, the truth is bitter, it's not sweet. It's exactly what people don't want to hear. That's right. Yeah, it would be easy for you guys to understand all this stuff and for me to understand all this stuff if it was natural. It is unnatural to be wise. Our natural inclination is foolishness. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, the Bible says. We're all born into being fools. It's part of our human nature, part of our sin nature, part of our lack of understanding nature. Who is in the fire with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? 12B Panda. You know the answer. Haley J answered the question. PL Hunt said Yeshua. Yep. Who was it? Now there's a five. His name has 5 letters in, and it starts with J. Who was it? Who was in the fire with him? Who was in the fire? The other guy was the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. That's right, but nobody wants to say his name. Jesus was with them, D. Rhodes said. Good job. What was it, 600 BC? No, like 400 BC, 400, 600 BC, whatever it was. Jesus was with them. That's who was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and kept them from being burnt. That's who was with them. That is from the first or the second chapter of the book of Daniel, for any of you guys who are wondering what we're talking about. Hello from South Africa. Love tuning into your live stream while I'm making dinner. Shout out to you, Justin. Really excited that you could be here. Guys, we're going to have to wrap it out pretty soon because I've got to go and shoot tomorrow's video. We've got a really cool video coming out later on today on Bitcoin. I think you guys are going to love. Melchizedek. Melchizedek was in the fire. Where do you get that from? Melchizedek was long dead by then. He was long dead. The tithe of Melchizedek. He's the guy that, what was it, Abraham gave the 10th to? The high priest. Yeah. Genesis chapter 14. That's right. Melchizedek was in the fire. Never heard that one. Jesus, none of them smell like smoke. There you go. Shadrach Frost said there was another indeed. That's indeed correct. You heard the song. There was another in the fire. The Anunnaki. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Like I said, we're going to wrap it out. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. And listen, here's the deal. I want you to walk away with one lesson. Hopefully you walk away with about like 2 or 3 dozen lessons. But if there's one thing you leave the stream with, I want it to be this. Nobody is coming. My friend, the cavalry is not coming. The cavalry is worried about their own business. Now, I want us to be the cavalry, if you will, for those people out there that are genuinely oppressed. The people that are genuinely under the thumb of racism or sexism or misogyny or misandry. Both. It goes both ways. People hate men because they're men. People hate women because they're women. I want you guys to be, we're going to need to go. We need to go and help those people that are genuinely in rotten circumstances and genuinely under oppression, and there needs to be justice. I'm all for that. But as for you and as for me, we have to take as much control over our life as we possibly can, and that starts with self-control. That starts with looking in the mirror and saying, I'm in charge now, not you. Me. My spirit is in charge of this vessel that I am living in, and I am going to be the one running it. And I'm going to do it this way. We have got to decide today that we are going to choose financial sovereignty. We are going to be the ones in control of our financial destiny, period, full stop, no exceptions. And if we fall into a situation where we are not in control, or we find ourselves in a situation where we are not in control, we are going to run towards being in control as fast as we can. Because life is better on the other end of that marathon. The reward for that marathon is peace, honor, glory, riches, a wonderful testimony where people will actually listen to you when you're trying to teach them something. Your children will be blessed. Your spouse will be blessed. All the people around you will be blessed. So we must decide today to take control over our financial destiny. We must decide today that from here on out, we are going to be the ones in control of ourselves and of the things around us that we own. And that starts with a dedication to wisdom and self-control. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. Just remember, none of this is possible without a daily walk with the Lord Jesus Christ. You want to hear more about that? More than happy to talk to you about it. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. Also, consider signing up for Blowfin. Links down below for that. Wonderful cryptocurrency exchange. I hope you guys have had a great time, and we're going to wrap it out. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.